After Foz do Iguaçu, I was transferred back to Londrina. So I went from Londrina, 10 hours out to Foz do Iguaçu, and then 10 hours back to Londrina. In Londrina, I started in Leonor, which is an area in the northern part of Londrina. And the northern and southern part are two different stakes. So I started in the northern stake, and then later I'll explain about the southern stake. And the differences in the culture just between those two parts of the city is quite astonishing. So Leonor would be definitely more of your lower middle class area. So I wouldn't say that they're poor, but a lot of the housing was built by the government at reduced prices. They're decent houses, they're nice houses, but they're by no means rich. I would say that is definitely the area where most new families are starting out. They'll go to about that area of the city, and then as they get better paying jobs, they'll usually move either more closer to the center or to the southern part of the city. So when I was there, that's one of the reasons it was growing so much, is because there were this kind of almost a wave of returned missionaries that had just gotten married and were establishing a job and a house, and so they all kind of moved to Leonor at the same time. And everybody was just super excited about missionary work. Leonor is also one of the most dangerous parts of the mission. There is what they call favela, which is basically a ghetto area called Brataki. And it's very small on the map, but missionaries are not allowed to enter any time of the day. So you'll find out that a lot of your favelas, missionaries can enter during the day, but during the night they're supposed to stay out. But Ataki, they can't enter any part of the day because there was a missionary that almost got stabbed there one time. So that's kind of a warning. Don't go to Ataki. But other than that, Leonor is really awesome. The members are awesome there. I loved it. After Leonor, I was transferred to Quebec. So Quebec is actually one of the wealthiest parts. It's the wealthiest part of the mission, if not one of the wealthiest parts of Brazil. I saw houses and cars that would put houses and cars here in the States to shame. I would walk down the streets and there would be a Ferrari, or there would be some other kind of sports car, a Lamborghini or something. It was a little ridiculous. The bishop, he is like the third highest rated stomach surgeon in Brazil, and he makes a ton of money. The ward mission leader, he goes to the United States about 3 or 4 times a year, and goes to Disneyland, Disney World, and just does whatever he wants to. So it's a very big culture change. But in this same ward is also one of the poorest areas probably in the mission, and so you kind of have that contrast in the same ward. And it was very interesting how you were able to see them, I guess, react with each other, and there wasn't this kind of condescending manner between the rich and the poor or anything like that. It was kind of interesting. I wanted to try to work with the wealthier side of the area, and I worked for about 2 or 3 weeks really super hard. We found some people that were kind of interested, but something I found out is that the people that are rich, they have to work a lot to be rich, and because they work a lot, it's really hard to meet with the missionaries. And so there were a lot of people that looked really cool on the first appointment, but then they stopped keeping their appointments, and they weren't going to church, and they weren't really progressing. And I guess the real reason why I switched more to the more humble part was because in the humble part, the members actually started giving me references, like really good references. I was actually able to receive like 4 or 5 baptisms just from member references in that area. And so that's kind of why I went to that, even though I had to walk a lot farther, and at times it looked a lot more dangerous. There were people over there that were actually wanting to listen to the gospel. So that was my experience in Quebec. In Quebec, I also had the opportunity to train a missionary, which was awesome. Couldn't ask for anyone better to train.